Hello, and thank you. I thought with the current political season, it would be appropriate if I shared with you some of my experiences with government. So my first experience with government was when I was 8 years old, and Ohio proposed a plan to cut library funding. I wrote my congressman from the email pinkdancerprincess@aol.com to inform him that if funding was cut and I was unable to read the new Harry Potter book, I would come after him on my 11th birthday and subsequent admission to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I did not receive a response. My next experience came later, when I was 13 and Casey Anthony was on trial for the murder of her young daughter. I watched the court coverage for hours and days and was heartbroken when the jury rendered the decision of not guilty. So my congressman got another email, this time about my 13-year-old self's plans to reform our justice system. I did not get a response. But from then on, I found myself more and more drawn to government, how it worked, who was involved, what the current issues were. I became completely obsessed with learning everything that there was to know about government. And trust me, my congressman received many, many more emails. But there was one thing I never really understood: partisan fighting. I couldn't understand why people were fighting over issues that to me had such simple solutions. For me, it was never about Democrat or Republican. It was about being truthful and fair, bringing goodwill and better friendships, and making sure their decisions were beneficial to everyone, not just their constituency. For me, the answer was clear and could be found very simply in the Rotary 4-way test, a series of questions meant to aid and influence decision-making. The first question: is it truthful? Is it truthful to take donations from businesses and special interest groups? Is it truthful to feed into iron triangles and pass pork barrel legislation? The answer is no. It is not truthful for parties to stack the odds in their favor while pretending to do so in the name of their constituency. None of that is truthful, and none of that passes the first part of the 4-way test. The second question is whether the decision is fair to all concerned. Now, to pass this portion of the test, government officials need to look not only to their constituency, but to everyone their decision will affect. It is not fair to pass legislation that will only benefit certain groups of people. It is not fair that elections are bought by businesses and corporations with large wallets, and it's not fair for those same businesses and corporations to shape legislation that will affect people outside of those bodies. The third question: will it build goodwill and better friendships? Political parties are, by definition, divisive, but fighting between those groups only perpetuates contention and ineffectiveness. Partisan fighting, by nature, means that there will be no goodwill, and where there is lack of goodwill and contention, there are no possibility for better friendships. The fourth and final question is whether the decision is beneficial to all. Partisan fighting is beneficial to no one. It means that no decisions are ever made, which means that there's no positive legislation coming out of Congress, which consequently means that people are being denied helpful and beneficial ordinances by the very delegates that they elected. In addition, neither party benefits because no decisions are ever reached because of the gridlock that they've created. So while I didn't know it at the time, I am proud to report that Ohio used the 4-way test and library funding was not cut. I was able to read Harry Potter, and from that book I learned a very important piece of advice from Professor Albus Dumbledore. It is our choices who show who we truly are, far more than our abilities. I think the 4-way test embodies that advice in all the ways that partisan fighting in government does not. I challenge our government to embrace Dumbledore's advice and the 4-way test because that is the only way to ensure that our government is truthful and fair, brings goodwill and better friendships, and is above all beneficial to everyone, regardless of party affiliation. I challenge our government to choose the 4-way test as a method for all solutions. But until that day, I will continue to send emails. Thank you.